Hi there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation. And so we are now in a new month. It is the month of February. And because February is so often associated with romance and love and things like that, I always like to have the February theme be somehow love related. And of course, because so much of what we explore, not only internally and on the cushion, but also in our everyday lives, tends to be a little bit more self-focused. I like to really take a peek at, from a variety of angles, the idea of self-love. I've done, certainly monthly themes that are about self-love. We've done self-compassion. But when I was reflecting on the specific word choice that I wanted to make and the thing I wanted to zoom in on for this month, I have to admit the word self-acceptance felt very strong in my awareness. And I think that, self-love is fantastic. And it's all very it's interwoven, obviously. I think self-compassion is really a combination of self-love and self-acceptance. But I don't know, I'm just kind of in this space right now where I really want to emphasize the idea of self-acceptance. So we're going to look at it from a few different angles. This week, what I thought we would do is start off on a smaller scale. So certainly we're going to expand and look at it, in some slightly bigger, sort of 30,000, feet from above types of views. But for today, I'd like our exploration of self-acceptance to be very focused on our practice. So I think the phrasing that I came up with for this week is accepting the meditator that you are now. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, with practice, we all generally tend to become more skillful in whatever we do with any consistency, of course. And that includes meditation. But there is also not this very, linear from point A with a straight line up, to point B growth that's automatic. It is much more, an up and down, and dare I say even like a loop-de-loop in all the different ways that, we might be feeling more confident in our meditation practice and then something disrupts it, or we feel like we're kind of getting the hang of it, and then there's some new tricky element to it for whatever reason. I think that's just the way it is. And a big part of sticking with your practice and being consistent with your practice, in my opinion, a really big tool for that is to not put a lot of pressure on yourself and to really make the choice to be accepting of whatever your practice is like on any given day. So you've heard me in the past talk about let go of expectations, don't compare this sit to a different sit or that other time or whatever it might be. And just to be honestly very thoughtfully and honestly present to and accepting of however it is that day, however you show up, however your practice shows up. And there's something very freeing about that. Now, you could certainly see where you could take this in another direction and talk about, how freeing it would be if we truly could accept ourselves, all of our perfect imperfections. And we'll talk about that. But right now, let's kind of keep it focused on our practice. So a lot of my prompts and a lot of the things that I'm going to invite you to use as guidelines, if you will, for our sit today are really going to be about that. So some of the things I've already said, some of which I have yet to say, but I think you'll hopefully find it to be freeing, like we've said. All right, I'm going to get my timer all set up for 10 minutes. And let's go ahead and find that posture that feels alert, but also relaxed. If you're sitting upright, either on a cushion or a chair, there's certainly going to be this quality of sitting in a way that I like to think of it as being rather regal, not tight and constricted and tense, but also not too, smooshy, slouchy. The phrasing that I hear often is sitting in a way that exemplifies your inherent dignity. If you haven't already, let's take a few long, slow, deep breaths. Allowing yourself just to settle in. We talked a little bit about the various anchors that you can rest your attention on, like the breath or sounds or other body sensations. So just choosing whatever feels easy. And as I referenced before we began, allowing yourself, if there's any quality of expectation or even hopefulness about this particular practice, this sit, I'm going to invite you to loosen that. Just lighten it up. If not, let it go completely. Let go of any comparing, any striving. If anything, you can even think of it as taking the easier route, which is to just be present to how things are as they are. So let's rest in that for a little bit. As you continue to practice, continue to come back again and again. Every time your mind wanders, knowing that's just a part of it. And knowing there's no need to beat yourself up or be hard on yourself when you wander into thought. And also acknowledging some sits, it's going to feel like your mind is all over the place, particularly if there was something you were dealing with or doing before that's still lingering for you. There's something that you know you're going to have to do shortly thereafter. It's just a part of it. You don't need to try to relax or try to focus. All you need to do is observe and acknowledge and accept. Perhaps you're feeling like your mind is racing, or your body is twitchy with nervous energy, or that you're feeling very, very sleepy. that is where you are in this moment. And the invitation for this practice is just to be aware of and accepting of, for this short amount of time, how things are, without trying to fix it or improve it or change it in any way. And allowing that not fixing, not changing, to be a gift to yourself. You're taking a rather luxurious break from that constant evaluating, adjusting, tweaking. This is the break. You're just letting yourself be. So let's sit with that for a little while, and I'll check back one more time. Noticing where the mind is now, and if it's wandered into thoughts or ideas, plans or memories, that's fine. It's fine. For this final minute or so, I'm just going to invite you to come back, re-ground yourself in the present, and just be with how things are until you hear that final bell. That's our 10 minutes. So welcome to the month of self-acceptance. If you remember from last week, we were talking about this idea of 10%. So even if you want to explore the concept of self-acceptance and ways that you might apply that, even if it's only 10%, 10% more, 10% less. That could be kind of an interesting thing to do. So as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.